Hey, comic book collectors, do you want to protect what you collect? Do you hate when your comic books slide around in your short box, or you need to turn them sideways just so they don't bend or fall over? Well, look no further than Sidekick Supplies. Their product fits firmly inside your comic box, so you don't need to worry. And not only is their product made in the USA, but also ships free directly to your doorstep. Check out our sponsor, Sidekick Supplies, at sidekicksupplies.com and use the code ComicCom15 for 15% off your purchase. Believe me, you'll be ordering more than one.
Welcome to the one and only TheComiCompodcast, your podcast for comic book news, reviews, and comic community drama, with your hosts, Nemesis Prime and Milton the Manimal. Are you listening?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Comic-Con Podcast, Season 4, Episode 50, the final episode before our year in review. We are excited to be here. It's just before the good old holidays, so happy early Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, whatever holidays. So hopefully you get a chance to listen to this while you're out Christmas shopping, if you're still doing that, or wrapping presents, or whatever. But we have, of course, both hosts and a special guest as well. So, Mr. Zach, how are you this week?
Oh man, I feel like Christmas just like snuck up. Like I think in the past week did all my Christmas shopping online. Like I honestly can't even remember the days of yore when you didn't have like Amazon. Like remember when you actually had to go to the mall? Oh my God, dude, like shoot me in the face, which sounds like a nightmare, you know, but thank the Lord for Amazon, except I will say this for the Wi-Fi. I got one present that's going to get here on time, and two of them are definitely coming late because I waited so long. But we also were, with the babies on the way, got a lot of expenses. So it was a light Christmas for the two of us. So
Yeah, I'm sure. It's tough because I get the Amazon Prime thing. Like I ordered a lot for like my parents, my brothers. But then when it happens is the wife also has the Amazon Prime account. So she sees everything that gets ordered and I see everything that gets ordered because I get the emails because it's my account. So it's just like, well, I know that's kind of for me. And then I'm like, well, I'm sure that's for my nephew, her parents, whatever. But it's like, it's tough to hide.
I know
when you want to get something like
there's really not much surprise left in Christmas, it feels like. But I will say the other game changer, like for Amazon, is the gift wrapped option, right? Like hell yeah, I'll pay an extra $3 to put that dude in a little baggy thing, and I don't have to do shit. Perfect, dude. Like take my money faster. Yeah. So I'm a really horrible at wrapping presents. Also, like it doesn't fold right. It's crinkled. There's a tear somewhere. I put a lot of tape on there. Like I'm not good at it.
Speaking of wrapping presents, let's have our guest, Mr. Bird City himself, Mr. Anthony. How are you?
I am fantastic, but I feel your pain with the Christmas shopping. I tried to be super duper creative this year, and I told the kids, don't give me a list. I'm done with lists. You guys are teenagers. I'm done. You telling me exactly what you want takes the magic out of Christmas. Sounds great, right?
They don't give you any. You wanted nothing.
Nothing, okay. No hints, nothing. I mean, I should know my children, right? I'm thinking, this sounds awesome. I'm the man. But then the doing came around. And let's just say it's been a struggle, and we will find out in about a week whether my kids love me still or it's a complete disaster.
That's what receipts are for, right? Like keep all the receipts.
Amazon. Receipts. I made sure everything was returnable.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. Usually get the gift receipt on the box. You know, it's like if you have the box, it's taped to it and be like, hey, if you need to return this, if it doesn't fit, here it is. Here's the gift receipt right there. But yeah, good old Amazon. That's the easiest way to return everything. So
it's tough too, as like an adult. Like the wife's like, oh, well, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, honestly, like I don't know. Like anything I want, I buy. Like, as I'm going throughout the year, and I really don't. Honestly, man, I don't spend money. Like I buy comics and I buy some books here and there and some video games and stuff, but that's about it. Like I'm really not spending money on like items. So I think I told her, like, I don't know, we could use a mini fridge, but like that's like a house item that we need necessarily, not necessarily a Zach Christmas present item, but I mean, whatever, dude. At this point,
I'm the opposite. I don't like spending money on myself, so I'm easy, which is terrible because my wife is the complete opposite. Laura buys what she wants. And every year it's like something generic, like get me bubble bath. And I'm like, you're going to get me some cool stuff that I will never pull the trigger on.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get you bubble bath. Makes me super lame. That's what I want. And I'm like, it's such a trap. It's not.
Yeah.
No, bubble bath. I'll get that for you for no reason.
Yeah.
She's
It's
like,
a trap.
another year went by and he didn't get me anything cool.
Find me the thing I've been
Another
thinking forever.
Tuesday. And I get some bubble bath,
And she's gonna get some bubble bath. Like I'm gonna go. It's gonna be like a truck full just to rub it in.
Dude, Diddy her. Just get her a ton of oil, baby oil.
Ton of
dude.
baby oil.
Just Diddy party time.
Oh my
I
God.
love
Just
it.
go to Bed Bath & Beyond and just give her the $500 gift card. Let her buy
Yeah.
every scented soap and bubble shampoo and
Oh yeah.
candle, whatever they want.
She told me to give her a coupon book.
Or did they make those?
Oh
They
my
blank ones, and you can rip them out. I already ordered one, but it's gonna be some weird shit on it. And I'm telling
Well, like you fill it in, like a
You
back
have to fill it in,
massage
yeah.
or something. Like
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember those too.
that sounds like a lot of work too, to be honest with you. Like to
I
come
know.
up
I
with
wish you
creative
just
shit.
buy me a necklace.
More work.
Get some earrings, yeah.
Sure.
Well, let's get into this wonderful hobby, this wonderful podcast for the week. So, again, we brought on Anthony because he's got some cool stuff going on in his world. But before we get into it, of course, for our community section, don't forget that on a March 22nd of 2025, the APA Hotel, we will be at King Kong Comic Show presented by MTG Comics. We will be there set up with our buddy Viken Marion in Artist Alley with a ton of other artists and writers. Of course, a lot of the community vendors will be there. So make sure you get your tickets. Bob McLeod, the big name right now, and Greg's always adding some stuff. So with our final episode before our year-end review, having Anthony on here, he's not in his, I know normally, with video section, we don't, we always say there's no video for this, but Anthony's actually streaming or podcasting with us from a new location, which is pretty awesome to see. So recently, Anthony just opened up BirdCityComics official store. Anthony, how did this come about? Where is it at? How you liking it? What's the turnaround? What do we got?
Yeah, it was a cool thing. So super, man, this kind of fell into my lap. Nothing that I pursued myself. I always thought to myself, brick and mortar, overhead, no thank you, yada yada. But at the same time, I didn't realize how big my warehouse space was. So when you talk about renting warehouse space, of course it's cheaper, but it was a lot of square footage for the amount of comics I had. So, basic math, I got out that public school math and it was pretty comparable for the size space. And this was a comic book store already. And the guy got offered some ridiculous amount of money. Some couple in another state bought his entire store inventory out. So no inventory, no store. So I called him and I said, hey, buddy, I need to buy some books from you. I'm running low on some stuff. He's like, sold it all. I'm like, what'd you do with your shop? And he's like, well, I'm trying to find somebody to lease it. And then we got to talking about the math and it just worked out. I mean, it was really comparable to what I was already doing, except for I get some foot traffic now. So we moved in and it's been fantastic. We're out in Sun City. I think Google Maps should be approving me sometime soon. I had to do the whole transfer over to get the address updated, but we're out in Sun City. If you just type in Bird City Comics, you'll find a phone number if you need directions and want to come and visit us. But yeah, it worked out perfect. He left everything in here too, which was awesome. The display cases. He's like,
Yeah,
you want them?
what about the art on the wall and stuff? Is that all his?
It's all me. Everything.
Oh,
the only
you?
thing that was in here was the slat wall and the cases.
Oh, okay. So no books, no art, no nothing.
Yep.
Nice.
Just a blank slate. There's like a blank sheet, a blank canvas for me.
Nice.
And
So is
when
it
did
like a
this
little strip
happen?
mall? Do you have like anything around you that food?
Oh, yeah.
What?
This is dope. Check this out. So I get in here and I'm like, oh man, let's see what the amenities are. There's an Italian restaurant on the corner that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had the meatball sub from over there, and that was just like a surprise. Went in there, is like, if you can make a good meatball sub, the sauce is good, the cheese is good, probably everything in there is decent. And it was really good. And then on the corner, got a mom and pop burger shop. So like legit burgers on the grill. All the way at the other end, there's a bakery. And then what I just learned, Mediterranean supermarkets.
Mhm.
Okay. Yep.
Never been inside one, but there's one here. And I was like, I want a soda. They got to carry soda. Went in there. Dude, fresh baklava every Wednesday. The wife of the guy that owns it makes it. And baklava is amazing if you've never tried it.
Yeah.
So I had some today. So I got all my treats. I got bakeries. I got food. And then there's a USPS and a UPS in the same lot.
Oh, hell
That's
yeah.
key.
So
Yeah.
I got the big question though, because you asked you talked about all those things. What's the bathroom situation like at your spot right there? Because you're talking meatball subs, burgers, baklava. I mean, you might have to,
So So I was thinking that this place might have been like a child's daycare before it was a comic book store because the toilet is the lowest to the ground ever. Like you got to aim and fall and hope you hit rim.
So when you're sitting, your knees are like in your chin, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. It's probably the smallest toilet I've ever seen in my life. And you got like 1970s linoleum. I was like, that didn't sound right at all. On the ground, there's no hot water. It's only cold, even if if you turn on the hot side. But it's not like I'm gonna take a bath in there. It's roughing it. It's like using the toilet on a campground, really low to the ground.
Nice.
Well, that's cool. At least you got everything around you. I mean, that's the most important. I mean, the UPS and the post office that's the best thing. I mean, you're on, because you're doing your eBay live sales, you're doing the whatnot sales, you're doing the normal selling. I mean, packing up and just walking it right over there is just, that's like,
so I still schedule deliveries like a turd, right? And the UPS guy,
you make him come to like 2 doors down.
He drives like 5 doors down, and he's like, "Did you need a pickup?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "We're down at the other." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Oh damn, you're gonna get hated.
Yeah, that's bad.
Well, when you start getting stuff from Bird City Comics people, and it's kind of bent,
you
know why? Because Anthony doesn't want to walk.
Man, you need like just to knock it all out of the park and have like a barber shop in there.
Right next door, literally, my neighbor's a barber.
There you go. That's it. I mean, what else do you need? That's
and
it.
10 doors down, there's a tattoo parlor.
Okay, so when you're feeling a little froggy, you get
I drive past it every day, and I keep thinking, what am I going to get? And I know it's going to be something stupid just because it's here.
Yeah. Well, how long you been in there?
I mean, I think we've been coming in and out at least 3 or 4 weeks now.
Oh, okay, so still kind of newish.
Oh yeah, like people don't even know. I get people that open the door and like, "Are you guys open?" And I'm like, "I say open on it. All right, come on in." No, I'm not like that. I'm like, "Yeah, come on." I didn't even have change in my change drawer. That's how like unprepared I was. Guy's like, "Can you take cash?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love cash." He's like, "You got change?" I'm like, "No, I don't." So I just made his order, whatever he had. He's like, $20. I'm like, $20.
Go down to the UPS store, get some change,
right?
And drop these packages off for me while you're there.
I'm still gonna schedule it. I'll just go get it.
Oh my god, that's too funny. Well, congratulations, Sun City in Arizona. So make sure everybody gets a stop over there. I'm sure if I come out there, I can't wait to stop over there and check you guys out. Definitely. So are you? I know we talked kind of pre-show. Are you looking to do some artists and writers like signings coming in for 2025?
Yeah, I mean that's my bread and butter. So as soon as I feel comfy and situated, yeah, we're gonna as many people as I can get to come out and all the exclusives that we drop and stuff. It should be a good time here all the time.
That's awesome. Are you going in every day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I move in,
because that's a change for you, man, leaving the house and stuff, right? You were like totally. A homebody working from home type thing.
No, I had a warehouse, so I did leave, but it was more like a Monday through Friday thing. Mm-hmm. But then you switch and you got retail hours. So I think I've taken off Sundays, which Mrs. Bird City is telling me retail and it's Sundays, and I really shouldn't do that. But it's football season, so that's been a struggle at home.
Yeah.
But I'll probably cave eventually and come in for Sundays.
All right. Well, you get those young kids again. Well, those college kids come work for you. So
I don't know if you can see them behind me.
I saw something moving back there.
So that's
someone there.
Yeah, my nephew. He works. Well, not nephew. Yeah. I call him nephew. He's my cousin's son. The whole cousin. But yeah, he works for me full time now. And we brought in arcade machines behind me. Mm-hmm. And I put a sign on the arcade machine that says, "If you come into the store, you beat my high score or his high score, you get 25% off whatever you're buying today."
What's the game?
There's a Pac-Man and then there's a pinball.
Okay.
And yeah, some kid came in here and like killed our score. So he's been sitting over there for about 30 minutes trying to wipe out the high score because then it won't be fun for anybody. But that's what he's doing back there. He's playing Pac-Man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congrats again. We'll definitely, we'll look forward to anything that happens in 2025. Before we kind of get into some stuff, you just dropped the Mark Spears and the Lucky Devils variant. Anything? What's the first one? Can you announce anything for 2025 or anything left for 2024?
Sure. 2025, I think we're pretty much caught up. The Mark Spear stuff was interesting because we'd gotten to a little dialogue back and forth with him. And again, this is another person just enjoyed communicating with Laura and I guess. And he was like, "Yeah, I want to do this and I want to do that." And you guys have really, put that personal touch. We reached out. We wanted to talk to him. And and get a feel for him and his product before we rolled out all those exclusives, and then they just happen to like fly off the shelf. So in January, guys, keep your eye on everything Bird City, because we've got a super duper special, one of a kind Mark Spears Monsters book. Original art. It's not going to be one of his card variants that he's done. He's been kind of reusing some of the art for the trading cards, but it's fantastic. You don't let that waste on so we use some of that. And then so this is going to be an original piece of a character that he has sworn that he won't draw until a couple more issues down the road, but he caved and gave it to us. So imply there whatever you want. And it's gonna be amazing. Off show, I'll shoot it to you guys and you can emoji react.
Yes, that's what we like. Cucumber emoji.
All right.
Eggplant.
Peach eggplant.
Sweet. Awesome. All right. Well, look forward to all things Bird City. You know where to find them, Bird City Comics. Let's kind of get into some stuff tonight. So we got an article to speak about. We got reviews, and we want to talk about some hot topic in the world of comic book buying. So our one article for this evening, and shout out to my buddy Comic Rat, Patrick. Don't want to give out his last name, but he sent me this article actually on IG because he goes, I know you were reading Peter Pan books. And he was the one that told me about this one. So from Boom Studios, they just actually announced it yesterday. The Last Boy series announcement. So Peter Pan, like you've never seen him before at Boom Studios. So we've seen this before at the creator Dan Panosian, who created the Alice Never After, which Anthony from Bird City has done a variant for. We've also seen, we were talking about a pre-show, Briar, the Sleeping Beauty. We have now The Last Boy, so a little Peter Pan coming out in 2025. So years after Peter Pan's adventures with Wendy Darling, the boy who wouldn't grow up is now the last one in Neverland, still clinging to his adventurous youth. Meanwhile, in London, Wendy also yearns for childhood and its freedom from responsibilities as she rails against the transition to adulthood and her family's expectations. So interesting stuff. We kind of have this first time where there's no, I get my guess is no Lost Boys. Peter still want to be who he wants to be. And then you have all the great characters from all the Peter Pan, the Hook stuff. You got Captain Hook, Tiger Lily, Tinkerbell's in there. We've seen this before. Dan's done the Alice Never After. I enjoyed that series. We kind of talked about it. The Briar. I thought it was okay in the beginning, and then Zach and I kind of were like, it's kind of off. What do you think about this? Anthony, let's start off with you.
I dig it, man. I think it's interesting too. It sounds like it's going to be pretty catastrophic, because when these two, as Peter should be an adult, but he's still not. Wendy looking to go backwards, sounds like she's going to do some of that self-sacrifice where she's going to mess up her current situation. I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be a beautiful, nostalgic disaster, which could be a fun read. So I'm looking forward to it. And then the pictures, if you guys go and check that out, the character designs are off the chain.
Yeah, it's you got a very old Captain Hook. You got Shmi. Tiger Lily's now the chief of her group. And then Tinkerbell's got some wild design as well, the older version of Wendy. I'm sure you're going to be doing a variant for this, I would think, after seeing some of these designs.
I've already been kicking it around as soon as you sent this over.
Awesome. Zach, thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's worth a check out. Like you said, Briar was kind of a letdown for me. It was something that seemed like pretty exciting, and then I don't know where that story went. It just kind of went off the rails pretty quickly. So that was kind of a letdown. But I do like these reimaginings, almost a continuation here. And there's always been something a little dark about the Peter Pan storyline. I mean, it's weird. It's this kid who doesn't want to grow up. You got these adult pirates who are trying to kill the children. Like, there's always this kind of a dark aspect. And so I'd really like to see him kind of lean into that a little bit. There's some crazy like fan fiction, like serial killer type like stories around Peter Pan. Like, hey, think of it this way, where Peter's actually the villain and Captain Hook is the good guy trying to like rescue these children from Peter Pan, who's keeping them as children. It's kind of, you think about it in different ways and you analyze the Peter Pan storyline sometimes, and it can come back a little weird. So it could be cool. It's interesting to see. I like the cover there. It definitely looks like was Anthony Hopkins or Dustin Hoffman, who played Dustin Hoffman in Hook. Was it Dustin Hoffman, right? It's kind of got some Dustin Hoffman vibe with like the two front teeth there, and I feel like I can kind of see him in that picture, in that art there. But yeah, I think it's worth a check out, and see where it goes.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of these properties, because they've kind of become public domain. We've kind of seen it this year, right? With that like Winnie the Pooh movie. That's like, and I was talking to our
Blood and
buddy Mike.
Honey.
Yeah, Blood and
Yeah.
Honey. And I was talking to our buddy Mike DeB Spencer, and he's a big horror guy. And I sent him this thing. I don't know if I sent it to you guys too, Zach, in our group chat. There's that new movie coming out next year called Peter Pan's Nightmare Neverland,
Yeah.
which is like another take on Peter Pan, and it's a serial killer type of thing. And we were kind of going back and forth. There's like a Little Mermaid one that came out this year, which I didn't even know about, which I got to check out. It's like she's like a vampire type of thing. So I'm interested to see this as well. I'm sure, the wheels are turning behind in Anthony's brain of what type of variant wants to do this. So be on the lookout for from Boom Studios coming out in the spring for The Last Boy variant cover, I'm sure, coming from Bird City Comics. But yeah, very cool from Dan Panosian.
That Blood and Honey thing, there's a whole like universe that they're doing with that, the Twisted Childhood universe. And it's Winnie the Pooh, and like you said, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Bambi the Reckoning, Pinocchio Unstrung, and then the Pooniverse Monsters Assemble. So I don't know, man. It's crazy shit. Oh, and it looks like they've just announced Awakening Sleeping Beauty and Snow White Returns. So it's some dark shit, man. I haven't seen any of those at all, the Blood and Honey stuff, but
I watched it when it was daytime because I was like, this is gonna freak me out. And it was like, it was very gory.
Yeah.
But there wasn't too many jump scares. So I was like, oh, I could have watched this at 9 manned up, but I had to take it to the test run first.
It's just like humans walking around with like masks on, right? Like
pretty much. It's a lot of that like slow approach, like it's coming, but they draw it out so many seconds. He's like, no, stop, and he's backpedaling. It's like, all right, axe him already, but then he doesn't. It's like, whoa, that was excessive.
All right. Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, but I know I always see the trailers on YouTube. Certain channels I follow always post all the trailers, and that's how I found out about that Peter Pan Nightmare Land, which is like
January 13th that comes out, actually.
Cool.
The Peter Pan one. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I definitely want to check out the like I said, the Little Mermaid one too. So we'll be right around the corner. So interesting new book. Make sure you check it out this spring, pre-order it, and like I said, be on the lookout from Bird City for maybe something in the spring. Topic I wanted to kind of talk about tonight. I think this is kind of more recent for a lot of the stuff over the past, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 months. It's been more mainstream happening with the FOMO of buying books that are coming off of video games. So we kind of saw this start, I'd say, over the summer with the Gwenpool, the Fortnite edition, finally kind of put her in the game. That was the whole season, was the Doom. And I remember being immediately at Terrificon when that season started, and all of a sudden that Gwenpool book, first appearance, kind of popped, that Howard the Duck book. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm like, is this really going to be the thing? And it was. For the most of August, it was definitely, right. That book went from being like a $5, $10 book to a $30, $40, $50 book. Now, we talked about it before the game. The game just launched basically 2 weeks ago, Marvel Rivals on Steam, Xbox, PS5. I played it. I tried it. I played it for 10 minutes, and then I realized all it is Overwatch, and I couldn't stand Overwatch after too much. So I kind of deleted it. But then all of a sudden, everybody's buying these first appearances. So we got Luna Snow in the game. You got Jeff the Shark. You have all these characters that are more newer characters that are pushing these top 10 books. And we've seen it on Cover Price, CBSI, whoever, Comic Tom. Do we think that this is kind of what people should be buying, instead of the normal weekly books or a variant? How do you guys feel? Do you see this as like long-term hold? Is this the FOMO buy? What are we thinking?
I kind of see it as no change, really. If you go back a couple of years, let's say, cripes, man, let's say 6-7 years ago, right? Like the height of Disney Plus, TV shows coming out, all the announcements, when you were getting all the Marvel Cinematic Universe announcements, and like the Cover Price, when we used to be on Cover Price on like the regular stuff, I mean, those books were popping, right? Boom, first appearances. Hey, here's the spec. Like even when we used to do the Mikey Sutton stuff with Black Knight reports with Tim and stuff like that, it was all popping off news, right? And that was all like, okay, buy it, first appearance, this character's coming. But that's kind of dried up because the news isn't really popping as much as it used to be. Like we aren't getting Disney Plus is like, hey, we've put out a lot of L's lately. Let's dial back our shows. So we're not getting as many announcements as it felt like we were at that point in time. And so I feel like what it's done is it's just now moved. And so now people are trying to either buy or sell off the hype of the little things like the movies and stuff. I remember the first kind of thing that like to me was a strange one was when Into the Spider-Verse came out, right? It was an animation and the Miles book popped again, right? And then I mean, okay, maybe I guess it's a theatrical movie. Okay, I guess I get it. For me, it'd be more like a live action thing, but and then you saw it again with like the game, right? With the Spider-Man 2 game, and it popped again. And so it kind of I feel like people are just looking for any avenue, right? To kind of say this book's hot again, but like, is it hot? I mean, I'm not gonna say you should buy or you shouldn't buy. I mean, that's on you. But I feel like that's where I'm seeing it. That's the vibe I get is where we're getting kind of dried up on the TV movie news. And so now it's like, okay, a game's coming. Let's see if we can't spark this a little bit more again.
Mm. Ant?
Oh man, let's unpack. So I think that it's good for the community when these things do happen. Only because for the hobby to stay active and we need new blood, new collectors, new people coming in. And if a video game character revitalizing a book to $20 to $30, I don't think it's going to hurt the market. But think of the people that are selling it. Who's buying them? It's not us. We either have it or we're not going to pay for it because we're set in the hobby already. But that's probably new blood coming in. And I think these are good opportunities to hook them. So I do enjoy it. I like when something pops, even if it's for the weirdest and most odd reason ever. And if video games are what's doing it right now, fantastic. Used to be movie announcements, great. You get the trailer and it'd be like a hand, and they're like, "Oh, whose hand was that? Oh, the first appearance of yada yada is gonna fly off."
Mephisto.
Yeah, there you go.
Mephisto for years, dude.
And it gets this blood, and people get their hearts pumping, and they get to the internet and they take to it, and then there's battles and wars. You're dumb for buying this. You're awesome for buying this. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be terrible, and it fuels conversation and purchasing, and it just keeps the hobby alive. I think it's a great thing. And I look forward to seeing what are they going to pull from next, because it was movies, now it's video games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we going to start deep diving like, I don't know, Nintendo Power magazines or back covers?
Episodes? Remember when they did the Wolverine podcast, like something like that,
Yeah. Like things like that. And I think it keeps the hobby fun to chase these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've kind of like, it's just wild. The Jeff the Shark book I couldn't sell that run. That second West Coast Avengers, I couldn't even sell that run at all. And then now it's like the book is between $100 to $200 raw, over $200 slabbed. It's absolutely wild. And I get it. If you're buying it for a younger kid, say in their their young teens, or maybe 8 to 10, because it's kind of like their first big book. Maybe the parents are going to spend a little bit of money being like, you need to kind of hold this, right? Like this is going to be the book that we're going to spend a little bit of money on, but you got to keep it in good condition, because I can remember going to the store when I was young in like the 90s, and there'd be like, I remember like X Factor 1s would be on the walls and X Factor 5s. And I was just, and X Factor 1 was like almost like a $50 book. And I was just like, oh, I want that. Yeah. And it's like, not that price anymore, but it's still like, it just held that nostalgia. And you're like, man, if I spend this money, this is all I'm going to get for like a month from my parents. Right. But yeah, it's really interesting as far as the gaming stuff, like you said, Anthony, I know people are always looking for that first appearance. And if it's not in a comic book, where is it? Is it in a Nintendo Power? Is it in Electronic Gaming Monthly? Is it in some random magazine that, some certain, I'll say a Sonic character that's going to be appearing in the end credit scene appears in? That's
exactly.
So
yeah, and it makes it, and think about it like this too, X Factor, like as a retail new store owner, X Factor goes to the back of the box. West Coast Avengers, the back of the box, put that where nobody's going to look. And then Jeff the Shark comes out and it's like, oh crap, people are in here every day asking for it. It makes backstock that was not relevant again.
Yeah.
And which is great for the hobby on a whole. So there's some retailer perspective for you, because there's some books that definitely hide it back of boxes. Go, okay, nobody's gonna look for these, and then sure enough, something comes out. And I'm like, oh man, what did I just sell that for? I need to find an article to see why this guy wanted it so bad.
Yeah. I'm definitely agree with Anthony, about it sparking the hobby and bringing in like new people, right? Like that, as it should, right? And that's awesome. Like I'm past the days, if I ever really was, in the days of like being like, well, you're an idiot. Why are you spending that kind of money? I mean, like I probably wouldn't buy it, but you know what? Like to each their own. Your money's your money. But I will say I think I'd prefer like more of a middle ground from. I mean, like Justin, you talking about that book being like a $200 graded book and like $100 raw, like. I mean, let's be honest about Jeff the Shark, right? I mean, that's not a $200 book 2 years from now, right?
No.
So I'd like to see it, if you are enticing, it sounds weird saying enticing a child, but if you are like encouraging a child to like a young new reader to come in, like Jeff the Shark, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. I don't know, man. Like it'd be kind of nice. Of course, this is like an impossible universe and it's capitalism, but maybe keep that at a reasonable price, like the X Factor prices back in the day. Like I remember X Factor 1 was $20 on the wall, and that was barely attainable, right? And something that's like attainable for a kid. Like most parents who aren't in the comic book hobby probably aren't going to be like, yeah, I'm going to buy you that $100 book. Probably not. Like if they're not into comics, I highly doubt it. So I'd like to see these books kind of be more middle of the pack, man, rather than like let's try to eke out every cent from people. Just to really get people in,
Yeah, that's the mentality I can tell you a lot of retailers have. They want, and not everybody, let me walk that back, but there are enough of them where they want every penny out of, their books.
Yeah, it's a business. I get it. I mean,
I get it too, but I don't know, like sell the books. Like I told Laura, I go as a joke. I told her if we weren't called Bird City, we'd be OBO Comics, like or best offer.
Yeah.
Like I don't want these things.
Right.
I had a guy in here earlier. I got a ASM 300. It's a 7.5. I told him I got to list it for 300. Make me an offer, man. If he would have came back at 250 or 225, I probably would have said yeah to him and moved a book.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And which is a great deal for him. So I get what you're saying, but that's, it's shop around, I guess is the point you're making. Like make sure don't buy the first thing that rolls across, negotiate, and hopefully find a retailer that wants to give it to you at a reasonable price.
There's a lot of stores here in New Jersey for this small state that I could go into the shop 1 week and in a month I could go back again and they still have the same wall books, is because they're priced like a museum. So it's like you walk in and it's just like, hey, you still got this Star Wars Clone Wars 1 on the wall. Like maybe you should price it down, or, like you said, take a best offer, or for God's sakes, maybe just list it on eBay. Like if it's just going to sit there and collect dust on the bag and the board, like let's kind of move this.
Yeah.
They probably still got like Star Wars High Republic #1, Stephanie Hans, like at like $100 on the wall, right?
I have one on my wall and I just priced it to $20.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's a pretty reasonable price for that book,
I just found one in a box. So I got a couple ones, and then the Stephanie Hans, and Laura's like, weren't those like $100? I'm like, yeah, a while back, but let's throw $20-$25 price tag on it.
Oh yeah. I mean,
get it out of the way.
I'll give you 10, Anthony.
Deal.
OBO, baby.
OBO, baby.
Go ahead and schedule that UPS to come pick that up for Justin.
Hey, they're coming tomorrow by 11, so if you tell me, it'll get shipped.
Yeah. But yeah, I love it. I think, I feel like, like when I want to collect a character, I want the character because it's, I like the character when it comes out, right? Like for, older people that can afford books, right? So kind of on the flip side is, yes, the younger kids, like Zach said, Anthony said, it gets people into the hobby. But for older people that are running out and buying these books, it's definitely the FOMO buy. It's not because you like that character, because if you like that character, you would have bought West Coast Avengers or the new Agents of Atlas books. Like those books were super hot 2 years ago, and then they dropped. If you like that character and you still didn't get that first appearance because you were waiting for something, and now boom, Luna Snow is in the game. She's a great character. Now that's hot again. Like, why didn't you buy it? Like, what are you waiting for? At what point is it because it's hot and everybody's talking about it so you can kind of show it off? Like, hey, look at me, I got this book now. Or you don't want to buy it because when it's not hot and you're showing it off, people are like, whatever, it's Luna Snow.
Yeah. There's a flip side to that coin too, because you don't want to miss opportunities to buy things, like you're saying. And retailers don't want to miss opportunities to sell things, but then they pass it by. And I don't understand this waiting game. Like the guy earlier, he should have taken me up on that 250.
Mm-hmm.
He should have done it. And when he left, I almost stopped him and I said, "Hey man, what's your number? Like, I'm just wondering, because I came down for you." Like it's such like a complicated dance. I almost think like National Geographic's the birds with the feathers that flip up, and I'm dancing around like, "Hey, take my comics." And they're like, "Let me look." "Oh no, let me not look." And I'm like, "Bro, what are you looking for here?" Like, and then I think some retailers get upset and go, "Screw it, put a price tag on it that reflects this. And if they want it, they want it. Did you beat your score?" Stupid, get out of here. You beat the score on the Pac-Man machine. Anyway, lock the door. But yeah, I don't understand that. And I think it creates an interesting relationship between buyer and seller.
I hate haggling, dude. It makes me feel so uncomfortable, and I'm just not good at it. And look, as much as there's the 12 people out there that have me blocked on Instagram, and then I'm kind of a bad guy and like an asshole, I'm really not. Like when it comes down to it, like I really follow like manners and social cues, and I'm more the person who's like if I haggled with you, okay, I was like, I don't know, like 250, and you were like, no, 275. But okay, dude, cool, because I wouldn't want to be rude, and like I have like a problem with that. Like it's a problem. I need to be more of an asshole, believe it or not. But
I mean, if you're
bad at haggling,
that's not bad. Like if I say this book's $100 and you go $25, they're like, all right, that's rude.
Yeah, so that's like the reverse. Right? Oh, I'll give you like 25. Yeah.
Yeah, which I get sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're completely fine. If you're like, here's a reasonable offer, and then I counter, it's a fun little game. I wouldn't worry about it, Zach. You're a nice guy.
I'm bad at it. I'm just bad at it.
It's because you're tall. That's why.
That's why I'm bad at it?
Yeah, because you come walking up all big and gigantic. You're like, how about 25? Get out of here, big guy. Like
I never lowball. I never lowball.
You gotta make yourself look smaller, like shrunk in.
That's
like,
super. Oh. That's super hater. That you're like a heightist. You have heightist. You have heightism.
Heightism. Excuse me, sir.
I think Zach, didn't I haggled?
I think I had Justin haggle for me. I'm sure I did.
Ghost Rider 1 was it, or 2? What was it?
That was with Jeff too, dude. And I felt like an asshole with my friend. Even worse, dude. When Jeff was that the book you're talking about?
Yeah,
Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I felt like a dick there, but Jeff was like, "Yeah, dude, sounds good." And I was like, "Okay."
See, that's my kind of retailer. Haggle me.
I felt really
all
bad.
kinds of stuff.
I felt like I took advantage of him, and he's really short too. So I was like, I totally took advantage of him.
When I go to Comic Cons and I price things, I go. When people are looking, they start looking at price tags. They pick something up and put it down. I go, that's my wishful thinking price tag. If you have a number in your mind, don't leave before telling me.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Usually they stick around and talk to me. So I'm like, yeah, that's wishful thinking pricing. Talk to me before you go if you're really interested. And most of the time they'll stick around and we'll have a little back and forth.
That's how I am on eBay. Like legit, bro. Throw me an offer. If I've got it listed for 200 and you threw me 125, like it's a high probability I'm going to just sell to you.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Like I just don't want it, dude. Get it out of here.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Takes up too much space. We know that. We buy books weekly. It's getting to a point where you just can't. You don't have a storage unit or a warehouse like Anthony does.
Yeah, I don't have like a Pac-Man battle in my back of my shop.
I gotta go wipe out ASS. Right.
You need Ms. Pac-Man. I was pretty killer at Ms. Pac-Man.
That's like third or fourth time I've heard that this week when I bring it up. People like Ms. Pac-Man.
It's better. It's definitely better. It moves faster, I think.
Somebody else said that exact thing. I swear it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, it's not. It's Pac-Man. She's just got a bow.
Nah, dude. She's something else. There's something special about her feminism, bro. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a misogynist, dude.
She's the heroine of gaming.
Yeah. She's the first.
She's like the OG.
She's the first of her kind, bro.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Someone's going to complain about it at some point. Someone's going to say it's LGBTQ something.
No.
I know.
She's cis, dude. She's total cis.
Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man.
I don't know what any of that means.
No one does, bro. They don't either.
All right. So, good topic. And I'm glad we have a retailer here to speak about it because, he's got books to sell. So the question is, do you have any It's Jeff books available?
You know what's funny is I was on a live stream, and in the case, I've got that Scarlet Witch #1 that the Marvel booth did at San Diego.
Okay.
You had to sign up for their year subscription of their reader app, and they gave you one of these and Deadpool toy. Did you guys see all that?
Was that the Steve Orlando run?
I don't know who the writer was. It's a Peach Momoko cover. If that does anything for you.
Oh, I know the cover. Yeah, I know.
It's the most recent run for her, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah. I
Mhm.
think that's the Orlando run.
But yeah, you had to sign up and show them that you signed up and paid the year subscription. They gave you the comic, and then they gave you like a little baggie with the Deadpool action figure in it. So I have one. Some guy's like, "What do you want for that?" And I'm like, looked it up real quick. I was like, "Well, $80 is the average sale. Make me an offer." And he's like, $25. And I'm like, "You want to get blocked?
You're too tall, dude.
You're too tall. That is a too
You're
tall."
too tall, some bitch.
But again, at $80, if he would have said 50, I'd have said fine.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
So again,
I mean, yes. Like, look. Okay. First off, for anyone who's listening out there, this is for sure. If someone gives you a price and you try to go less than half of that, I mean, that's outrageous. That's outrageous.
Right.
Oh yeah, I've gotten that on eBay.
That's the worst. You just don't. When someone offers, if it's like $100 and someone's guy's like 25, I respond back 120. Like I always offer higher. Like my rebuttal is higher than what it's actually listed for. Like,
and nice. I always do a penny less. I always do like 99.99.
Yeah, nice.
Like just for you annoying me.
Yeah. The fact that I have to type in a message and hit send again.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it.
That's bad. All right, so let's kick it to our comic book reviews for the three of us. Interesting stuff since we have Anthony here. So Anthony, what are you reading? And a follow-up question is, since you won't be here for our year in review, what's your favorite title that you've read this year?
Ooh, what am I reading? You know what I did read today, which I actually enjoyed, was the Laura Kinney Wolverine #1 that just came out. Did enjoy that. What am I reading? I'm looking at the wall because I read it first before I put them up, and I'm looking for it because now I'm spacing. The Laura Kinney was good. Oh, that mushroom book. What's it? Bloom. Boom Studios Bloom. Have you read that one yet?
The #1 just came out last week. I think. I did not.
Mm-mm.
My shop did not get it, of course. But
it's scary. Is that what you said?
Yeah, because it could happen.
Okay.
Zombie.
What's it about?
People? So you know that I think they're taking a little bit from the Last of Us. But so it's got very Last of Us vibes without giving away too much. Even the cover art's crazy. Like there's mushrooms growing out of people's heads and brains, and I'm like, yeah, this is a little. It's a little feasible for me, so which makes it extra scary for me when things are real.
Interesting. All right, and it's from it's Boom, right? Boom Studios.
Drop that.
In Bloom. That's what it's called.
In Bloom. There you go.
And what about best or book? You know, what was your favorite book of this year you've been reading?
So this is not a new book. I got some the Invincible compendiums in, and I've never read Invincible all the way through.
Me neither.
And I read it, and I already knew it was going to be really good, but the comic is even better.
I'm gonna have to do that.
It was fantastic.
I've heard that about a lot of things, especially like when you're reading stuff, like doing it the compendium style. I remember like when Walking Dead was probably issue like 150, and my buddy was just like, "Oh, you should check out Walking Dead comic." And it was, I don't know what season it was, and he actually gave me the first compendium, and I never read it, and I read through it in like a few days. I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's the format for it, and the heft of it was like this whole experience. I reread also 7 to Eternity this year, the big compendium of that. And that one hits home for me because when Laura was pregnant with Adam, I think it was. Anyway, he was a terrible child when she was in pregnancy. So I used to read her 7 to Eternity to put her to sleep because she said it was boring.
Oh God, come on. Rick Remender is amazing.
Fantastic. So, but I remember like enjoying the hell out of it. And I'm reading the individual issues. So this year, I'm bringing in books for the store, and I'm going through stuff that I don't need anymore. And I'm like, oh, there's my 7 to Eternity, and I probably busted it out maybe a week ago and started dipping back into that. It's been a fun ride. That's a sweet book.
Yeah, I like all Rick stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah,
cool, good stuff. Zach, what do you got?
Yeah, dude, I'm suffering from the same problem I had last week with my shop. Like, I don't know what's going on with my shop in the Marvel books. I haven't read.
I heard you on the phone today.
Yes, dude. And then like I looked back. I could go on and on. It really pisses me off. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm already kind of like out the door right now on buying books. Like, I'm really cutting back and just reading online more, which is horrible to say. but like shit like this happens and it really throws me off and it really pisses me off. And so whatever. Anyway, so I didn't read a ton this week. Trying to think so far. I'm gonna have to read a bunch of them. What did I like that I didn't read? G.I. Joe
Even
#2 was cool.
Even last week's, because we really didn't even talk about last week's books. So.
Yeah. See, I was looking at last week's. I mean, I think I talked about the Ultimate Universe 1 year in. I think you and I talked about that. That was cool.
Well, we didn't actually. We talked about that offline because
yeah, that was a really cool issue. It's basically obviously 1 year in, like this story, like the title implies. And you kind of have it's all from the perspective of Nick Fury, and obviously Nick Fury works for the maker and like his organization, but so he's briefing throughout the title. He's on a helicarrier and he's kind of briefing the council, Maker's Council, and he's talking shit on him in his head. And basically, you kind of see that he's like double agent or whatever, right? Like he wants to break free from what he's been doing. He's kind of disgusted with himself on all the horrible things he's done. And it shows like some panels of him like killing the Howling Commandos and like doing nefarious shit like throughout this whole universe. I guess it's a week old, so I can kind of spoil it. But so at the end, he's just like, ha ha ha, boom, self-destruct. I got all you effers, and he like blows them all up, but they all start laughing at him. They're like, no, psych, dude. Oh, it happened again. And you find out that he's a life model decoy, and that like every year they allow this to happen because it's funny to them, but it's also just part of like the spy nature of Nick Fury that eventually, because he's the best spy, he's eventually going to double agent because that's just the way spies are. And so the Maker's Council just like laughs at him and they destroy him. And then they basically say, okay, start up the new life model decoy of Nick Fury. And he like comes back. So pretty dark stuff, to be honest.
It was really cool.
It was really cool, but it was pretty dark. So that was really cool. I enjoyed that. The Spirits of Vengeance stuff. I can't remember if I talked about that last week. I'm really enjoying the Spirits of Vengeance little mini series. I'm such a Ghost Rider stan that I love when they bring back like characters like Vengeance, Michael Bandolino, and then like all the kind of like lore of the Ghost Riders. So there's all kinds of Ghost Riders showing up and just really, really cool stuff going on there. This week, like I said, I didn't get to a lot of stuff. Joe was really cool. G.I. Joe #2 was cool. I don't want to spoil anything fallout from the previous issue. Duke is unhinged, bro. Like, did you read this one yet, Justin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's unhinged. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, this dude's not like your typical Duke commander, like keeps his cool. Nah, bro. He's a little wild. So that was really cool. Speaking of Remender, and this last one, two more to talk about. Is anyone else reading The Sacrificers? Justin, have you been reading this at all?
No, I stopped.
You did?
Yeah. I think I'm going to wait till the end and I'm just going to pick them all up. Yeah.
It's pretty good, man. I mean, it's not like by no means is it like the greatest Remender's ever done or like really knocking it out of the park at all, but I'm very much enjoying it. And, every issue, the Pigeon kind of like all beefed up trying to take out these gods and stuff. And something really cool happens in this issue, which I feel like can really kind of change the story a little bit. So I enjoy The Sacrificers quite a bit. And then final one that I liked quite a bit was the Rockefellers #2. Kind of weird in a way because I don't feel like it really pushed the story too much, obviously. And it's issue 2 to kind of them just do like a sort of like a Christmas theme stuff. But this issue or this book really has like very Lost in Space vibes. It's completely Lost in Space, really. Like, I mean, let's be honest. And I'm really there for it. I like it. There was the big talk about the splash page with like the whole Ghost Machine universe, kind of the 4 realities being depicted. And you saw like everyone from like Rook Exodus and Devour and Hyde Street and all those stories, like, which was cool. And it'd be interesting to see how it all kind of connects and plays together. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I got. I got to read Dick Tracy, Incredible Hulk 19. And I did get the most recent Rippaverse book, The Horseman, which I haven't got to yet, which written by Chuck Dixon. So I'm excited to read that one too. But
cool.
That's it. That's what I got, man.
Good.
Behind.
Yeah. I know. I have a couple books from last week, a couple books from this week. So I'd say Hot Garbage this week. And again, Hot Garbage is never always the book, it could be just this issue, right?
Right.
So I don't know if you guys got to read the Ultimate Spider-Man 12.
Oh, no, that's too bad to hear, though. I was
Yes.
bummed.
So I get it. So listen, it's nothing going on. It's the holidays. I get it. They're literally all getting together. It's Peter and his family, Uncle Ben, Jonah Jameson, Osborne, and then all of a sudden, for the first time in a very long time, you have Gwen, who's there, but
Mhm.
Gwen's mom and Gwen's sister. Now, I don't know Spider-Man lore like everybody else, maybe, but like I didn't even know Gwen had a sister.
I don't remember. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know that.
So for the most part, it's a safe play. I get it. They're just trying to do it for the holiday season, but for the only thing, it doesn't push the story forward at all until literally like the last page and the epilogue page. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was just for me. It was like, ugh, like this was just nothing going on. Just like, hey, it's families all just kind of conversating, like nothing, literally nothing, no suits at all, like at all. Transformers 15 from last week was just absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
I love Prime, his it kind of reminds me of like his 80s counterpart. There's like him just questioning himself, just doing everything on the new planet. Humans hate him. The humans hate really everybody, right?
Wait,
and
you're
I
a
like
Transformers fan?
what?
Sorry.
Really?
They can't see.
GoBots, dude. He's a GoBots fan.
Oh, okay. So I messed it up.
You're such a jerk, dude.
I love how there's like the 4 teams, right? You got like Prime and his team, you got Cliff Jumper, Blue Streak on like Cybertron, and then you have like the new Soundwave kind of leader, and then you have like Starscream and what he's got, what's happening with him. And I can't wait for next issue because just the cover for next issue, and I love the Combaticons. Like they're my favorite combiner, so I'm excited to see.
I immediately thought of you when I read that panel, the Combaticons.
I love
Did you pick
man.
up the 10th printing embossed gold foil Transformers 1?
No.
Not in your wheelhouse?
I can't keep track, man. Every issue has its own.
Printing.
We're on like 10th printing of number 1, like 6th printing of this. And
10th printings, they're doing gold embossed trade dress.
Oh, I'm looking at the Starscream one.
No, this one had Optimus on it for the 10th.
Oh, I'm looking at
Transformers 1. And then Void Rivals had one. They're sweet looking books, and they priced them at $3.99. It's still a $4 book for being in Boston and gold foil, so pretty slick.
I'm gonna have an entire short box of just number 1 with like all the variants and all the printings. I mean, literally, that's what it would be like if I actually collected every print.
Do you have a Bird City number 1?
The Bird City. You did the Hector Turner. Yeah.
Good.
I still have the little. Hold on, actually, while we're speaking.
Did you get the trading card?
Oh, what is he talking about? Hold on, it's somewhere. Literally right by me. I literally had it. I cleaned up the other day. God damn you! Oh wait.
Come on.
Yeah,
there.
Here it is. Right
there it is. The trading card. You got it.
Hell yeah! I knew I had it.
Nice.
So yeah. And then you did the for the Energon universe, you did the Megatron with him too. So
had to make a set,
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, everybody's got to do it. And it's good that you did it so far apart. Like a lot of people just do like right back to back, like sometimes the same book. I've seen a lot of people do the same book with like Megatron, Optimus, but to each their own. So yeah, Bird City did their own Transformer stuff. So back to books real quick. Couple other books that I know, Zach, I talk about this every month, that EC Terror Epithets from the Abyss. Number 6, another great book. Everybody's doing superhero type TV shows. They really need to do like a horror TV show that's built something around this, right? Like whether it's like Silver Coin,
bro. Yeah, Silver Coin.
But man, this issue had 3 stories in it. One of the stories was like this writer who's kind of having a writer's block, and what goes and what happens with it, and how he tries to make his second book. Wild stuff. The second story is about a homeless guy and just kind of being nice to homeless people, because you never know what'll happen to basically the guy constantly just saying, hi, how you doing, how was your day, type of thing. And this one guy was just like a guy in a suit just ignoring him every day as he walked by, and then something happens, obviously, because it's a terror show. And then the last story is kind of somewhat funny, corny, but again, it's horror, so it's like it's like NRA meets zombies meets Comic-Con. So I'll kind of leave it at that. But 2 other books real quick. TVA number 1 came out this week.
What was that?
It's weird because it's
no desire to read that.
Okay. It's literally season 3 of Loki, because everybody from the show is in there. So like Obi, Mobius, everybody. Miss Minutes. They talk about Loki, how he pulled the strings together to keep the multiverse together, or in sync, whatever you want to kind of call it. You see a photo of Deadpool like on the wall, doing since the movie with the TVA stuff. Um, but you got a team of Spider-Gwen, Jimmy Hudson. You know who Jimmy Hudson is, Wolverine's son from the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, we just saw him recently in the Venom War stuff.
Yeah. You have like a different version of Gambit, and you have Captain Carter. But I hate Captain Carter because they call her Captain Britain. It's like they had a comic called Captain Carter. They had her introduced a while ago, right, in Exiles, as I can't remember if it was Captain Carter or Captain Britain.
Yeah, Exiles,
but
Captain Carter.
You get the What If show. Like, why would you not keep her as Captain Carter? I just don't get that. So,
isn't there a Marvel Captain Britain already that's not Carter?
Yeah, well, there's two. Now it's Betsy Braddock, but it used to be Brian Braddock.
Yeah. Right? Wasn't there like a Psylocke guy? One or team ups that was like Captain Britain.
Captain Britain was historically Brian Braddock, Psylocke's brother.
Okay.
Yeah. And now it's Psylocke. Well, Betsy Braddock.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just weird because they're making it seem like Spider-Gwen and Captain Britain are all kind of part of canon universe of Marvel, but it's also taking place in the same world as the Disney Plus stuff, because even as you're reading the book, Spider-Gwen talks about it, and they put the asterisk like, oh, see what Spider-Gwen's doing in her series. So it's really strange. But last but not least, probably my pick of the week, and I really enjoyed it. It was a one-shot this week, the Green Arrow, Green Lantern book.
Oh yeah, didn't Ken do a variant for that?
Yeah, Ken did a variant for it. Picked up that cover, so it was actually pretty good. It was 2 stories in one. It's kind of got that like Denny O'Neil feel, and kind of the reason why is it actually takes place in the 80s, but you don't really find that out till the very end. But it's got a good, it's a good friendship story between Green. In the first story, it's Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and they're battling Deathstroke. Deathstroke's kind of going after him, and then they kind of figure each other out. Like, how do they find him? They save Hal because Hal kind of gets injured, and then in the second storyline, it's Deathstroke going against the Flash. So Green Lantern comes, Hal Jordan, and it's the Flash stopping Deathstroke. But as I'm reading it, I didn't even realize. I thought it was Deathstroke, but at the same time I didn't, because he's kind of got this like all black costume on. It's not his normal like orange and blue. And at the very end, they actually have an asterisk that says follow Deathstroke's storyline in New Teen Titans #2. So it actually takes place well back in the 80s.
Gotcha.
So it's like before Deathstroke even fights like the Teen Titans. So thought it was a cool little one shot. So, it kind of brought me back to that, the late 70s of the Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams stuff, like that type of writing. So really cool. But that was my pick of the week.
Did you
there's a couple other books,
Batman?
But yeah, I mean, Absolute was Absolute.
That
right?
one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of wanted to pick different books, but Absolute this week was a solid issue. The Terminator series is still doing very well.
Yeah, I just read issue 2. I haven't. Obviously, 3 just came out.
Yeah, 3 this week. The new Thundercats also. I mean, Declan's just crushing it.
Yeah. That did. Let me see. The Absolute Batman issue 3, the Del Otto cover crushes. I mean, it's not selling for a ton, but it's a fantastic cover.
You see, is that the one with?
It's not a money thing. It's just like I see it on the wall all the time, and I'm like, how am I not out of these?
Oh yeah, with his hooks on the stairs and they look bloody.
Yeah,
that one's really cool. I saw that one.
I dig that cover a lot.
Yeah, it was good. It's got Selena. You get a little bit of backstory on her, a little bit more opening up of what Alfred's doing, like Pennyworth and the Black Mask crew, and something happens at the end that I'm wondering if they're really going to go that route for this Absolute universe with Batman. So we'll see. Won't spoil it if you haven't read it. So, but that's it. That's books of the week. We appreciate Mr. Anthony from Bird City coming on here to chat with us for our final community episode of the year before our year in review next week. Zach and I will be doing post-holiday season. So, Anthony, before you get out of here, let people know where they can find you. Anything special?
Yeah, all things Bird City. Type it in, Google it, search it. Instagram, IG, it's the same thing. Facebook, if people still do Facebook. website, BirdCityComics.com. Our location, it's open. Come hang out with us here. Exclusives dropping all the time. Big Backstock's going to be coming to here. This might be the new honey hole. They still use that term?
Oh yeah, I like
Some
honey
people.
holes.
Yeah.
Can I say that? It sounds dirty.
It does, but it's 2025 almost, so you're good, dude.
It could do me. I like.
Yeah, you do you, dude.
But yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff, guys. If you guys like eBay or whatnot sales, we do eBay live pretty much 6 to 7 days a week. It may not be me, maybe my one of my guys that's here. Yeah,
Or Laura. I've seen Laura do one.
Laura, she was supposed to be. And she's like, I want to do this, and I'm so awesome at it. I'm like, let's run them. She's like, I'm busy, and I'm like, oh. All right.
Nice. All right. So make sure your Bird City is followed everywhere and anywhere on your social media platforms. And when you're buying, you know where to go. Zach?
No, nothing new, man. Ready for Christmas. Just crushing these Legacy of Kain, Soul Reavers,
Oh, that's
dude.
right.
Having so much fun. Just started Soul Reaver 2 right now, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, remastered.
Awesome. From myself and everybody here at the podcast, from with Zach and Anthony, we appreciate all you listening. Again, have a happy holidays. Stay safe. We will be back for one more show before the end of the year, and then we do have some stuff possibly changing in 2025, but we won't really speak on that right now. But as always, read your books, buy them. Long live the comic book community. Catch y'all later. Peace out, everybody.
Later.
Hey, comic book collectors. Do you want to protect what you collect? Do you hate when your comic books slide around in your short box, or you need to turn them sideways just so they don't bend or fall over? Well, look no further than Sidekick Supplies. Their product fits firmly inside your comic box, so you don't need to worry. And not only is their product made in the USA, but also ships free directly to your doorstep. Check out our sponsor, Sidekick Supplies, at sidekicksupplies.com and use the code ComicCom15 for 15% off your purchase. Believe me, you'll be ordering more than one.